Guys, welcome back. So in this video I will talk about for each in the Stream API, and I think this I have already covered in all the examples when I was talking about functional interface and other methods in the Stream API, but still I'll just, since I have made a sequence, I'll just cover it. So if you look at, you have an array list, okay, and let's say I want to iterate over the array list. So earlier, if you remember the traditional way we used to write iterator, okay, here I don't need to do that. I can just do list.stream. So this will give me a stream of a string, and then I can run a for each loop, and this is my function. So you know that your for each will take only consumer, and you know that consumer will just process your data. Okay, return type is the void. So this will print your list. So let me just run that, and you will see that data is getting printed. Why this 2 empty? Because there was no data in the list, right? So this empty got printed. In the second example of for each loop, so like for each, you have something called for each ordered. Okay, so what is this for each ordered? So if you go inside the for each ordered, press Ctrl, click on for each ordered, look at this, the Java documentations. They have written perform an actions for each element of the stream in encountered order of the stream, if the stream has a defined encountered order. What does mean by that? Which means, see, usually this is helpful when you are working with the parallel. Okay, when you have parallel stream, this is helpful. If you don't have parallel stream and if you have for each ordered, you will not see much difference, right? It works like same way how for each works. Only the difference here is this guy, even in the parallel, when you are running a parallel stream, this guy will maintain your order. Okay, this guy will, for each order will maintain your order. So if I will run here, you will not see any difference because this is the sequential stream. So in sequential you don't have much difference, but yes, once I will show you parallel, you will see the difference, right? And usually when I will talk about the parallel, there I would like to cover it. But let's say just what I will do is, just to show you, I will write here for each. Okay, a stream dot, I will write dot parallel Okay, parallel I will talk later. Here I just wanted to explain you. So parallel basically, it runs all your stream in the parallel. Alright, now you can see the difference. Now for each okay, let me put one separator. Okay, now let me run this program, and now we can see that the difference what I was talking about. So if you look at here, this is your, when you run a for each on parallel, this is your output. So first blank came, and then DDA, then again blank came. So basically when you run in the parallel, it will not guarantee that what is the sequence of output, okay, in case of for each. But when you have for each ordered, so if you look at the for each ordered, even after parallel, okay, it is maintaining your order. The way data was present in the list, the same way it is getting printed. So both are running in the actually parallel mode. Okay, but in the for each ordered, it is maintaining that the list in which the data was presented in the list, right? So that's the difference, guys. So whenever you want ordered and you want to have the parallel also, go for each ordered. Now look at the third example. So in third example, I have created one consumer. This is separate simple consumer. I have written one consumer. You can see that this consumer will take a student type of data, and on that a student in curly braces, since I have a multiple line, I need to write a curly braces even in the function. When I have one line, it's not mandatory, but yes, you can write. But since I have a multiple line, I'm writing that I have writing a curly braces, and you can see that it is always end with semicolon. So here I'm checking for if age is equal to 10, then only print that. Okay, then only print that, otherwise don't do that. So guys, one more thing, this is really required to write like this? No, because our functions are smart enough to understand the type of S is always a student, because your consumer has a student object, right? So this this also object is going to be a student type. So again, since it is only one argument, you don't need to write the parenthesis and all that. Okay, even this works fine. So this is your consumer. This guy will process your record. Now we have the student class object, and in the list I am adding the student object which has name and age. Okay, now list dot for each. So list dot for each I am calling this because if you'll go inside the list dot for each, it takes consumer. Consumer means it will just process your record, and I have consumer created already. This consumer I have created which is static in the nature. Okay, so I am just calling this consumer. So what will happen is this consumer, the data will get printed. Okay, the data will get printed. The second, if you look at, this is the another way of writing the consumer by using method reference. So I am saying that list dot for each. Okay, and from this for each I need only name. So on the student, this is the method reference. So basically this is you are creating a function. Okay, get name. So this will, from the entire this list, it will just give you the name. Okay, the focus on this list dot for each this is the student. So and then colon print details. So what happens is, this is my object. Okay, this is my object. Inside this student class there is a method called print details. So go inside that, look at this print details method. So you will have multiple print details, guys. So if you look at the first print details, will take a student as an object. The second print details will take id and a student object as a method argument, and the third one, it will not take anything, right? So you can see that there are three methods here, guys. Okay, so this method is the non-static, and this method has argument. This method is non-static, method has argument. So actually both three is non-static, only the last one has no argument. So this guy will work on the object, and this guy will work on the object which you supply. Like both will work on the object, but this will work on the specific student object which you will supply, whereas this guy will work on the a list of object. Like whenever you will call print details on the list, on that current object this guy will perform, right? Because from the current object it will get the name, it will get the age. Now if you come back and when you go to the example, so here if you look at, I'm writing that reference and print details because this print details method, okay, here I'm consuming the method which has method argument. So when you press control click on method details, it is taking you here, right? So whenever you have method has an argument, okay, and which is non-static in the nature, you need to create the object for this class. Okay, that is the reason I am creating the object for this class, a student object, and then on this reference I can call this method print details. So how this works is, you know that when you say list dot for each, so basically it runs on the list object, and when you say list dot for each, so one by one this student object will get supplied here in the print details. One by one the student object will get supplied here in the print details, whereas in the second this list dot for each, you can see that here I'm just calling by using class name, right? Because in this print details, when you press control click on print details, I'm calling this method which is not taking any argument. So whenever you have a method which does not take any argument, okay, whenever you have a method which does not take any argument, even though it is non-static, you don't need to create a reference and then call it. Okay, you don't need to create a reference and then call it. So if you look at here, directly you can call by class name dot print details. So how this works is, one by one, even this guy will take a student object one by one, but since this guy has no argument, so I can directly call by using the student reference. Now you might be wondering, like, why this one we cannot call it? So let me do one thing. Let's say this, I will comment this. Okay, I have commented this. Now this default method is not there, right? Now come here. When you come here, you can see that already error is coming, and what is saying that, you can read this, cannot make a static reference to a non-static method. print details a student. So the second one is now giving error, compile time error, and it is saying me you cannot make a reference and the print details a student of the student type, which means, see, there are only two way you can use it. Either if it is a static, you can use by class name. Even though it is not static and this method will not accept any argument, still you can use by class reference. Okay, but whenever you have a method which accept argument, you need, and if it is a non-static, you need to create the object for the class, guys. Okay, you need to create the object for the class, guys. So let me uncomment this, and now the error will go off. Now we will not see the any error. Let me run this. When I run this, you can see that nicely all the data got printed. So if you look at in the first one, I have only test one, right? The reason being is because there is only one age, which is 10, and I'm printing the name for that. So there is only one age, which is 10, right? The second one, what happens is I'm just processing the data. Yes, it is getting processed based on the name. Okay, and based on the name, so list dot for each, you can see that list dot for each and a student dot get name. Okay, so this get name. So basically here, guys, what will happen, so here it will not print anything because you are not printing it. So even when you go inside the get name, there is no print statement, so it will not print anything. It will just process your data. Okay, it will just process your data, it will not print. But here print details, in print details, you can see that I am printing it, so it will print the data, right? And in this print details also I am printing it, so here also the data will get printed. So that is the reason this, you can see that the output remains same. Okay, there is no changes in the output for both the method called print details and print details, because both are working on the student object itself. Only the difference is, since this method has an argument, I need to create the reference because this method was non-static. The last example, example number 4. So this example number 4, if you look at, I have used here by consumer. Okay, I have created two consumer because I'll be working on the map. Okay, since I'm working on the map, I need to use by consumer, guys. Okay, because map, what happens is you have key value pair, and when I was talking about by consumer functional interface long back in my very starting video, I told you how to write a by consumer. I also told you how you can process against your map. So same thing I'll do here. So there is a by consumer. Okay, by consumer means, if you'll go inside the by consumer, there is a method called accept. So it will accept two object and it will process your data. Okay, so assume that it's a map. So I have written, your key is going to be integer and value is the student object. Okay, a student is the class, and then k comma v, so key value pair, and then I'm writing that curly braces. Here I don't need to write actually curly braces, if you'll ask me, because there is only one line in the curly braces, so I don't need to write here. Okay, still it works fine because there is only one line, so I don't need to write curly braces here. And I'm just, what happens is, through this consumer I'm just printing that key. Okay, and from the value, what is the value? So for every key, what is the value? It's a student object, right? Here also this is the key and this is the student is the value. So since it is the object, from the object what I have, name and age, right? So I'm just giving some space, get the name and get the age. Okay, so this is my consumer. The second consumer, if you look at the consumer 1, which again key is the integer, the value is the student, and I am writing some if conditions. If value dot get name, so if you look at, since it is the value, right, and value is the student object, so I can call get name dot equals ignore test1. If like this is the one, then only print that, then only print key and value. So there are two consumers. Now if you look at, there is a hash map. So hash map has some data, and then once we have all the data in the hash map, I am calling that consumer. Okay, I'm calling that consumer, and then again I'm calling that a student dot print details, right? So what is this print details, guys? What is this print details? So what happens is, in this a student class, there is a method called print details. So press Ctrl, click on print details. So if you look at here, in this print details, there is a one method which will take ID and a student, okay, which will take ID and a student. But the problem here, what happens is, this ID is not getting initialized by the constructor, okay. This ID is not getting initialized because your constructor has only two fields, name and age, okay. So this ID, in that case, what is the data you will get for the ID? You will get always 0 because the integer default value is the 0. So you are going to get key this always as a 0, and this will change based on the object what it will get supplied. So this print details, right? So let me go back to the example. Now focus here. If you focus here, this student.print details, as I said, the print details is the non-static method, and print details takes argument. So I need to have the object of the class, and that's how we call method reference. I mean, that's how we create the method reference. So basically we are writing a function, because for each we will take consumer. So we are writing a consumer. Consumer is nothing but a function interface. So I'm writing a function. So on this a student, I can call print details. And one more thing, guys. So what happens now? Your functions are very, very intelligent. If you look at, just press Ctrl, click on print details. There are 3 print details. Okay. I am not mentioning which print details should be called, but your functions at the runtime is smart enough to identify which print details should be called. Okay. So there is a print details which has 2 argument. But if you look at in my this call, nowhere I am mentioning that 2 argument. But since you are running a for each loop, right, and for each loop will take only consumer, so this consumer is smart enough to understand in this for each loop what record you have. You have integer and a student object. So when you have integer and the student object, it will look for the print details method which has integer and a student object, which is this, right? It will look for the print details method which has integer and a student object, which means this, and then this print details will get called for every record. Got it? Right? So if I will run a Java applications, so you can see that both record is getting processed. One is by using consumer and one is by using print details, right? So here, is key, one, name and age and everything is getting printed. So there is no space here, guys. The reason being is I need to keep here space. Okay. Now if I run that, you can see that key, name, age, and then again key, name, age, right? So how this is working is, this is because of this consumer we have, right? We are calling this consumer, right? Again, let's say if I will call consumer 1, in that case my output is going to be different, guys. See here, for my second consumer there is only one output. Okay, the reason being is, when I am processing through for each, this consumer has a conditions. So if like name matches with test1, then only process the record, otherwise don't process the record. So with this we are done with for each. And for each, anyways, I have given n number of example in all the topics, all the API of a stream. Here I just wanted to cover because I am following the sequence. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching this.